So long, spiders. You apparently can't climb up vines, even though most spiders can climb straight up walls, even bathroom walls, that are all slippery and stuff. Is there anything else in this room? No, I'm thinking of a different sort of similar looking room. Most of the rooms in this dungeon look the same. Yeah, going the other way. I read a really interesting article recently about the design of Zelda dungeons. I can't remember who it's by, but it's some game developer who observed how Zelda dungeons work, and while what he said was true for Zelda dungeons, it's also really applicable to other kinds of game design as well, for other games. And I found it really fascinating because I was kind of on with a speed bump on one of my own games that I was trying to make, and I'm still trying to make. Trying to make something that has some correlation to Zelda and its design. And what the article basically said was, every Zelda dungeon has some kind of an entrance, and then it has a spider body. And this is relevant to the spiders that I'm fighting. It has some kind of central chamber that splits off into a whole bunch of other chambers. And then he also described that there are spider legs, where you leave this central area, which he called the body, to go down legs, which would be more rooms and more hallways and stuff, to do more puzzles. And then once you reach the end of a leg, you find something that benefits you for the rest of the dungeon. And he also pointed out that every dungeon has keys, but they're not necessarily keys. Like, there are obviously the small keys that we've collected and the big key that we can see here. But then keys come in all shapes and sizes, they aren't just what we perceive to be keys. An item can be considered a key. A wall of trees that you slice after getting a sword can be considered a key. And a lock. So it was really fascinating to read. It was kind of like reiterating things that I already knew, but in a way that made a whole lot more sense, and it gave me some clarity on design. So I'm glad that I read it. Let's return to the room with the monkeys on shrooms. Literally just on mushrooms. I can't believe this game. This is a thing that we have to do to save the world. Is get a bunch of monkeys and make a monkey rope. It's like if a Twix... not a Twix rope. That doesn't exist. That's a Bic Dip reference. It's like if a nerd's rope was made out of monkeys. Hello. Hello. And we did it. I don't think there are any fairies in any of these pots. Normally there are in a Zelda game, but none of the pots in this area do. Also, that is quite a lock. I wonder what they're trying to keep out or in. Probably keep out. Because there's nothing really in here that would be enough of a threat to the rest of the dungeon. We're going to be fighting quite the boss, but it is kind of a stationary boss that doesn't have much range, so. More purple water. I guess it's the first purple water we've seen, but more purple is what I meant. Purple water is poisonous in New Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario 3D World as well. Diababa. Excellent. Just what I always wanted. They have super blue mouths. They must have had one of those, like, frozen ice cream pops. They're not ice cream pops, but they are frozen. The flavored ice sticks that are always tasty in the summertime. The ones that you have in a wrapper, and then you clip off the ends of the wrapper, and then you suck the end of it, and it's all juicy, and then it's really good. Someone's going to turn that into some perverted joke. Turns out fighting those two arms was not the whole boss fight. Now we have a creature that has an eye in its mouth, because that's totally practical. Hey, the ape is here to save the day. I like how the music changes just for that one scene. I just noticed the bug bomb's eyes. They're just tiny eyes on the top of his body. Alright. This eye reminds me of Majora's Mask on the 3DS, which I have not played, but I don't really plan to because it seems to make a lot of really weird, unnecessary changes. Here's Exorcist Projectile Vomit. Always good. Yeah, provide more artillery for the occasion, please. No? This is not what I wanted. I didn't want the bomb to come to me. Do you have anything else up your arsenal, monkey? Maybe you could start throwing the bombs? That would be nice and helpful. I don't usually have this much trouble with this. Oh well. You're getting a taste of what it looked like whenever I first played this game to beat this boss. Thankfully, you can two-cycle it. Not much of a problem if you just jump attack it a whole bunch. There might be a way to one-cycle it if you know some advanced techniques utilizing glitches in the game, but I don't know anything like that, so... Boom. Giant plant terminated. The explosions are kind of fun. Whenever the enemies just explode into JPEGs. I got a rock! Thank you. I am Charlie Brown now. So, Midna is collecting slabs of stone. Is this all there is to it? All we need is to rescue a whole bunch of monkeys? We could open our own monkey zoo if we just keep doing this. Yeah. I guess this is the time where I have to decide whether I want this to be a 3-heart run or not. I don't. I would rather make this a 100% playthrough. Because the optional stuff in this game is usually pretty fun. Now this water isn't poisonous anymore. It is just like Metroid Prime. There are a lot of similarities between this game and Metroid Prime, actually. Which I'll probably go over more later. It's just an endless abyss down there. You could probably come back here once you get the, iron boots. I mean, that's a spoiler, but, you know. Zelda games have iron boots. I'm not really sure what would happen if you sunk to the bottom, because there doesn't seem to be a bottom. You'd probably just die and lose a heart and respawn in the same room, is my guess. Okay. More exposition. Heroic cow. Yeah, Hyrule, I wouldn't think that Hyrule is saved. There's kind of a whole bunch of Hyrule left that we haven't seen yet. We're gonna be a wolf again. Sadly, we are not going to fight in a Wolfen fighter. And we're not going to lead a team called Star Wolf. But we are going to be a wolf again. Back what I said about the Metroid Prime similarities. This game, as we've already seen, has a lot of creatures that look like they have glowing tattoos and neon lights and stuff. And those remind me a whole lot of the creatures in Metroid Prime 2 in the Dark World in that game. And that's another similarity, is... I have to make this guy feel bad again. Sorry, your prices are just too high. Higher than your hair. Metroid Prime 2 is also a light world, dark world type of thing. So, that's another similarity. And then the graphics are kind of similar between this game and that one. They both have sort of a realistic tone to them. And in addition to that, the next dungeon that we're going to go to looks like it was straight out of Metroid Prime 1. So this is Zelda Prime Corruption. Welcome to Hyrule Field! Which, for unknown reasons, we couldn't enter before this point of the game. If you try to leave, and go out into Hyrule Field before you beat the dungeon, Midna just says, "No, no, you can't do this yet." Because... Can I get my horse now? No, I can't get my horse now. The horse is, like, kidnapped or something. I wasn't paying attention. I know that there are things that I can do on the way to Eldin, where I'm supposed to go next to save the world from Twilight. I don't remember exactly everything that I can do, but I know that there's a heart up in this tree. Just a heart up on the tree. That's something that you see in everyday life. Went to the store the other day, saw a beating human heart on the sidewalk, decided to pick it up, ate it, it gave me life. As far as I know, there are probably also golden bugs around here, but I don't know where they are, and I'm not going to bother with it yet. Since I don't have this game memorized, I'm just going to be picking things up as I know them, and then go back later if there are things that I've missed. And here's our friendly neighborhood postman, who even runs around in the middle of an open field with a tall thing on his back in a lightning storm. That seems like a very, very bad idea. He has a bunny on his flag, reminiscent of the bunny hood. Just like the running man who asks for the bunny hood in Ocarina, and also there's the bunny hood that you wear to do the postman minigame in Majora. It's probably more a reference to Majora than Ocarina. Unless it's just not. But quick like a bunny is a phrase, I guess, and the postman is always very, very fast. Yeah, I'd say this is probably the Wall of Twilight that of which they spoke. Yes, I know exactly what it is. We've spent a lot of time here, fighting bugs and whatnot, and we're going to be killing more of them. Everyone's favorite. So maybe this time you won't violently pull me in? That would be great, Midna. Just promise me you won't do that. You know what's gonna happen. Maybe she has to do that. Maybe there's no other way in unless you use extreme force. And if that's the case, I can understand. I will give you a pass there. Hey, I'm not a wolf. I guess I am now. Listen to what I have to say from now on. Every other line that Midna says is, "Do everything I say." So, we have to get my stuff back. Do everything I say. Oh, hey, there's a sword there. Do everything...